Yes, there are people out there saying that cognitive impairment can be halted or reversed. And then there's Doctors Dean and Ayesha Sherzai. They're not just talking about it. They're out there every day doing it and proving it. For the past 10 years, this husband and wife team has focused on treating people with MCI and getting incredible results through the lifestyle improvements they've incorporated into what they call the Neuro Plan. Personally, I think what they're doing is amazing, and that their message is one that every person with MCI needs to hear. And guess what? Today, you get to hear it directly from them. And I'm thrilled to have them as my guests. Hi, I'm Tony Deering of GoCogno.com, the website for people with mild cognitive impairment. So today, my special guests are Doctors Dean and Ayesha Sherzai, co-directors of the Alzheimer's Prevention Program at Loma Linda University Medical Center and authors of the book, The Alzheimer's Solution. Don't be misled by the title of the book. It's very much oriented toward MCI, and I was honored to have Team Sherzai, as they call themselves, as my guests in a Facebook Live that I did. What they had to say was profound, and I believe life-changing for the people who listen to it. So beginning today, I'm taking some of the highlights of that conversation and featuring them here. Let's jump right in at the point where they talk about why they say very emphatically that MCI can be reversed through lifestyle changes and how they're proving it with their patients.
And we're going to get into the Neuro Plan, but what it stands for is nutrition, exercise, unwind, which refers to stress management through things like meditation, yoga, restore, by which you're referring to 7 to 8 hours of detoxifying sleep, and then optimize, which is a combination of activities that challenge and stimulate the brain, and also meaningful social interaction. But particularly for this audience of people with MCI, you say in the book, and this is a very powerful statement, you say research points unequivocally to lifestyle intervention as the cure for cognitive decline. And you've seen this with your patients. So talk about this success and experience you've had with your patients.
Oh my goodness. So there's so much evidence from decades and decades showing that lifestyle has a profound effect on cognitive status. And among people who have been diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, a comprehensive lifestyle, which means addressing all of the elements of lifestyle together, can significantly slow down and even reverse cognitive decline. And, I can even quote a number of papers that have looked at this relationship. Let's just take nutrition as an example. We've known for a long time from observational studies in populations and even in clinical trials that eating a particular type of a diet, which is unprocessed and mostly plants, an unprocessed plant-based diet, can slow down the progression of the disease. And the MIND diet comes to mind. If one adheres to it, it showed that it reduces the risk of development of Alzheimer's disease in an MCI population by 53%. And even moderate adherence to that diet reduced the risk by 35%. That diet matters a lot. Let's take exercise as an example. We have known for a while from clinical trials that people who are on a regimented exercise program not only slow down the progression of the disease, but they are able to reverse cognitive decline. There was a study that looked at a little over 600 people. So the cases, or the people who were actively intervening in that group, were exercising about 30 minutes a day for about 3 to 4 days a week, and it was pretty strenuous exercises. And they compared them to those who essentially didn't exercise or maybe walked a little bit once in a while. And the difference was significant. Those who were in a regimented exercise program, people who were diagnosed with MCI, 47% were able to completely reverse their disease. Their neuropsychological test scores became normal. So, looking at sleep, for example, sleep is the most important time in our day. It's the time when the brain actually starts healing itself and cleansing itself. And people who have sleep disorders like restless leg syndrome or sleep apnea, they tend to have higher level of amyloid protein, the bad protein that is associated with cognitive decline in their cerebrospinal fluid. So sleep is extremely important. Right. And then optimization of cognitive activity, keeping your mind active, is also very critical. So when you look at communities and populations who have addressed these risk factors, they have very low risk of developing dementia or Alzheimer's disease. And even if they do have mild cognitive impairment, they can significantly slow down the progression.
And in our own clinic, we see this on a daily basis. For the past 10 years, we've been focusing on MCIs, on mild cognitive impairment patients, because we really think that population is most amenable to reversing. Of course, the earlier you get somebody, the more likely that you will ever develop the disease. But even MCI, because it becomes its own marker, because when somebody has MCI, they have memory problems, so they come to you. At that stage, we've seen repeatedly when we've been able to reverse their diet, exercise, and all that pattern, and address their particular weaknesses. Somebody could be eating all the plant-based they want, but they have sleep apnea. If they don't address the sleep apnea, forget about it. That's going to start damaging the brain. And so if you address their particular weaknesses and build around their particular strengths, repeatedly we've seen this reversal of cognitive decline in our own clinic. So the data has been there. The data we've actually laid out in the book as far as big studies throughout the country. And that we saw in our clinics in Loma Linda and other places definitely corroborated and further supported that fact significantly.
And one thing here that really, when I read your book, there's two things in particular that rocked my world. And the first one was just your willingness to say this can be reversed. These things that we're showing you, it can be reversed. Because I'm honored to have the opportunity to talk to you. I get the opportunity to talk to a lot of the leading neurologists in the country, and they're afraid to say that. It leaves people without hope because they will not tell people this can be reversed. And you stand right up and you say that. Why don't others?
So first of all, we wouldn't say things that were not fact and science-based. For example, some things that other people say, like, for example, we won't name the doctor, but says that he had reversed Alzheimer's. He has not been able to reproduce it, and we wouldn't say that. You can slow the disease down, and studies have shown that even if you have Alzheimer's, with a comprehensive approach, you can slow it down. But with MCI, it's not just us. Others have shown that MCI can be reversed. As Aisha just quoted it, just nutrition was shown to reverse the disease. Just exercise by itself. Now you add exercise and nutrition. I'm talking about a personalized approach to it. Plus all these other variables. Absolutely you can reverse at this MCI stage.
So those are inspiring and encouraging words, but the Shirzais have way more to offer you than that. I'll be back next week with their message about good stress and bad stress. All of this information is available in their book, The Alzheimer's Solution, and I include a link to that below. I enthusiastically recommend this book, but I want to make it clear that I do not benefit financially in any way from recommending this book, and in fact, the Shirzais themselves don't profit from it. All the proceeds go to support their Healthy Minds initiative. So thanks for joining me today. I'll be back next week with more from Dean and Aisha Shirzai. Until then, as always, be kind to your mind.